Thank you, everyone. Well, I introduce myself and what I will do just quickly. So I'm Frederic Bellaiche, I'm Deputy Technology Research at Dawex, and also lead of the Dawex Services Portfolio Group, at Gaia-X. The subject today is not so much to talk in deep that the data constraint agents. This is something that we actually introduced at last decades. Since then, there have been a lot of changing. We quite spoke about that, of course, but we want to focus on how Gaia-X plus the data transfer agent can provide enough material to actually internet standards and namely trusted data relation standard. So I will start with some uh, some information to that what's going on, but I will be quick. I'm not at the big. I put in little for standardization. You know, there's a lot of things going on. These are for this. I will focus only on the European base standardization, and there is a global framework that's been introduced by the European Commission, which is called the European Trusted Data Common. It's actually deals with a lot of things. There is about data governance, the things for that, data cataloging, standard for semantic assets. Um, there are things going on for measuring the maturity of the pieces, and there's one that I'd like to focus on, which is called post-tenable. I wouldn't focus on that because, well, Gaia-X is involved inside this process. The company that I'm working with now is also a lot of other companies are involved in that. But more than that, it's going to be what is called a normalized standard. What it means is that it is a standard that will be actually linked to human data regulation and then leave the data governance part. So it's very important because any data space for other body that implements these requirements will de facto be compliance with the European regulation. Well, that's an important topic. Let's focus just a few minutes on this startup. It's actually a very fast startup. It started with what is called about the workshops, which a preliminary common work with a set of companies and institutions uh, who start writing down the standard. Been done. It took us 2 or 3 years. Then it goes to another standardization body in the middle, Sense to transfer these three startup into a startup. And there are three parts of them. So part about the top one, which is uh, standardization terms, concept, and mechanism for trusted data provision. It's standard bodies of data space, but is a data producer, just a data holder, which is a data pusher or so. And then there are R2 boundary. R2 is probably the most important one because it defines all the requirements, individual and non-technical requirements to be but go with this color. And part 3, it produces on top. First one is the list in there. And there is a few will build actually to solve it right now into an pass to send them part to the entry after to get ready. And then it is going to follow the process. Finished that. Uh, let's focus a little on the almost dance picture. Out of part one is this push, which is the scope of the double push. I won't go to the detail. The page says also on the oh, that's the ratio. And what are the main steps or phase of from the life of the negotiation you have to change the cluster and to the access then. Uh, these are very important steps. Let's see why, because there are specific requirements for each of these steps. Now, how is the standard provenance? Well, there are general requirements overall requirements, and then there are specific requirements for all of these steps. The first, the correct potential capital say that it's persist texture. There are foundational principles in the way data rights and data are told about the data quality, about the provenance and lineage of the data, about observability and traceability, about interoperability among data spaces, and the needs of a trust group. That's the general idea of this standard. And then it is details in more general requirement for all of these topics. Each of them actually numbered. There is 5 of the 2 to part 3. I know what when we define each of the requirements. I won't go, of course, in the details of all these requirements, but you have to keep them. And then I know the on to read to have the slides. This is a detailed summary of all the major requirements out with this big license, the data exchange and access something. Subparagraph inside the document with the detailed requirements. So I won't go into the details there again, but I've done the work of mapping all these detailed requirements and see how well it fits or not with the actual function of the Gaia-X framework. What is what I did? And let's see how well it gives. The view that's at the moment we it quite well. How it goes. Most of them. Just two. About yes. And well, and the right both right. The just bias the table. Yeah, you. Oh, you. Hello, my the gates. What was up the so was you uh some kind of agent in very that and force it. Uh, um, so much a double litigation of credits ethics. So this part is not actually missing inside the Gaia-X framework. It has to be implemented by some kind of agent to actually be done. So to cover these gaps, we have to work within Gaia-X and within the community to build an agent that will cover all these steps. First of all, there's it's not a huge deal. It's mostly covered. There are few ideologies have has, and that's something that we play in the but for the work of the nation interfaces. No big deal. They pick it up by endless before finishing. Half in the trap. Unless the trap the chair because this is a preview. Yeah, some endless visitation and workflow for that day. This is something you see, and this is something that we are currently working on under the PyScience working group. It's still going on. We almost defined all the workflows. We're still working on the ontology and how to define the data access control, where to store it, how its life cycle, who has access to that, and define proper ontology and define a proper ontology for trusted data transaction. Well, it's an ongoing work. It's halfway. Okay, and then there are things about the need for observability. So there are requirements. We have overall things inside Gaia-X, which we need a proper framework. It doesn't have to be. There's many things existing in nature concerning observability. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but still we have to have proper definition of what we can observe, what we cannot, how to store it, who has access to what, depending on the roles and so on and so forth. There's a preliminary work that has been done inside the data exchange working group, which actually led to a lot of work around observability, and namely the need for data access contracts and so on. But it's still work in progress. But I think we need to go beyond the data exchange working group, because observability is a general topic and has to be tackled at the architecture document somewhere. So it has to be defined, uh, and it's yet something to be. It's not necessarily something that is very hard to do, but we have to do it carefully, taking account all the layers that we have inside Gaia-X. Not only at the data exchange level, but at the services level, it can be something that we can do. It's something to be done. So it's basically not bad. It's pretty good, actually. Most of it are on its way, and the rest has to be worked out inside the working group. But many of them. Next, we need to cover things at the data transaction itself. We have to have things. I prefer the terminology of agent to connector, because connector is can mean many things. So we, I mean, we a community. It's not. It's a collective work. To launch DTA almost a year ago. This is a lightware software that's comes into play when we want to manage a data transaction between two parties. It's something that is light. We don't want to put everything and anything inside of it. It is focused on the data transaction, on the data transfer. There is no place inside of it for catalogs or negotiation. We think this is not the business of this kind of agent. It carries out and all personalized the data transformation phases within inside the data space. It manages participants, data product, DAX, but it needs some specification yet. It provides policy enforcement, but in right access to the data, the transfer, and the many way to transfer data, whether it's API, push, pull, events, based streaming, and so on. And at least have the basis for observability. And most of all, it implements the specification from Gaia-X and works using OpenID for BCDB. So it's something that is hosted inside the GitLab of Gaia-X. There are several branches and versions. The last commits are from, I don't know, 4 days ago. There are many things going on. It's still an evolving project, but we'll talk about that. So with that, we can cover the missing gaps. Machine readable contracts is something that can be done inside DTA. It just needs to have proper specification for data access contracts, namely, and maybe some kind of framework for observability. That's the resistance. And we can do reconciliation of claims. That's already done. So there is not much yet to do, but we have to rely on extension of the Gaia-X specification and proper implementation inside DTA. So, and that will be the last slide for me. I will lend Benoit to go on. If we do that, we will have the proper the foundation groundwork to implement DTA with the data space and with Gaia-X, and we could have data spaces that are technically compatible and implementing the European regulation concerning data, namely the DTA. We will cover all these requirements. This is the one which are actually our Gaia-X today, and this is the one which it be covered with some work inside the specification and a DTA agent.
Hello, so my name is Benoit Tabutiaux from IMT Transfer Institute in Telecom, subsidiary of it. And I will answer the main question, why not taking a connector and exist one, and why developing a new component? And the answer is just here. So sometimes DSP connectors are just covering all these different phases, but most of the time the different phases are not deal with the same people first, and also regarding the architecture part, we will have different security and implementation challenge that need to be faced. And the idea of having something very light and very focused on this exact mission of delivering the data helps to have very clean code that could be reviewed and without having all the different layers that add more complexity. So we will take taking care of the moment where you know the data, the consumer know what he wants. They have already agreed on how to exchange data, and now it's really fast. So it's not a marketplace. It's the components that will be the closest to the data. And if you remember when I was talking yesterday with nuclear people, they require a lot of trustability, integrity, availability, and all these different functions are mainly pure technical IT people stuff. So basically, if I want a connector to provide all the quality informations that are in the trusted transactions, and also that we will define or at least collect for traceability, then you will need to be sure that the right version is covering all the different needs that you defined, and for the case of sensitive data spaces, that you can rely on big testing stuff and production grade software. So this is the idea of the main reason why we are developing a community tools. It's in the idea of Gaia-X. In Gaia-X, there's many members. All the members can come and share the view on the different components. It happens today when Christophe was talking about how we can enhance the wizard or how we can enhance different tools. It's exactly the same idea here. When we publish a version of DTA, any Gaia-X member or outside members can perform the code audits, code reviews, push some security fix, and also on. And the idea is that the community will be able to benefit from all this testing. The way we see it is like a collection of some kind of attestations. And basically here with EDF, Airbus, Siemens, and all big companies that have the mean to perform all the different tests, then it will benefit to probably smaller companies that are not used to that, or maybe out of this IT business, to use just this very small tool with the assurance that it's something that is live and reliable. So now that we launched the DTA last year, the idea now is to start building the ground of these community tools. So make sure that we are aligned with all the different sprints, of course, OSS, but also make sure that we can have some space where we have proper meetings, issue tracking, review, and versioning. So same as last year, we need people. We need people to help. We have some missing ontologies, as Frederic was saying. We need to complete the specifications to make something solid. And of course, then with the first version of the code, we need improvement, and we need security teams to join, to come, and to grade this and make sure that it's production ready. So you want to conclude, or? Yeah.
As you wish. You're welcome aboard at any level, at the level of the Gaia specification, to help us I guess this institution are there in the document, but there is not yet ontology defined, so it's up to us to push it to service characteristic. There's a work on that. There's work to be done at observability level, and has to be done at the Gaia-X specification level. And inside the community, well, we let as much people as possible. We want something very straightforward, very light, easy to read, easy to implement, easy to deploy for small company and big companies. No. So that's it.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much. What I like best is, of course, the linking back of the software to the standard, and the intermediary being the Gaia-X Trust Framework, because please, yeah. The first one will get the prize now. So, but as I said yesterday already, the good thing, if you comply with the Gaia-X Trust Framework, then this transfer agent makes sure that those parts of the Data Act which rely on specific standards are automatically fulfilled. That's the H, the harmonized European norms, make that easy for you to claim, you have violated the Data Act for data spaces Article 33, and you can say, no, I'm using the DTA, which is using the Gaia-X Trust Framework, which conforms to EN 18235 parts 1, 2, and 3. That harmonized European norm, voila. And that is the promise. And this is why it's really important to have that open source and in the community, and not in the hands of, I don't know, one of the giant software pieces. Thanks a lot for the contribution. Looking forward to have someone else next year presenting the next version. And I will come to the next presentation.